All right, we're going to be looking at the wide receiver draft class coming in. Top of everyone's list is this Ted McMillan. Big kid, wins the 50-50 downfield plays and big strength body control. Next up, we have Matthew Golden. Explosive off the line, speed to burn 4.3 speed, makes acrobatic catches. Matthew Golden is one of the hot receiver prospects coming in. Next up, we've got Luther Burden III, playmaker, right? A good playmaking runner from Missouri. Hey, tracks the ball well downfield. Big playmaker. Gets the ball running sometimes too. You can see him near the goal line. They like to give him the ball. He's making some plays, and here's another playmaker from Ohio State, right? Egberka. Big playmaker, runs hard, another running hard. Get him the ball. Just get him the ball somehow. Breaks tackles. Can break tackles with balance. Fantasy AI got back in school with a good eye and a rubber neck. I looked at CBS's rankings for these wide receivers coming in, PFF's wide receiver rankings, and ESPN's. Combined them together, found the average rank they had on them, ranked them into the top 10. And then I took their overall rankings, used their overall rankings for each player, found out how many graded out to first round ranks. Got 4 in the first round, 4 in the second round, and 4 in the third round. We're going to find out who they are and how they might score next year. So let's get started. Welcome into Fantasy AI. Moving on. Fastest way for me to introduce everyone is to fill my shorts. So I'm going to fill my short and introduce these wide receivers. Stick around, the show follows after that. Fantasy AI with your top NFL draft prospects at wide receiver. Jalen Noel from Iowa State comes in, ran a 4.39. Alec Iamanor from Stanford ran a 4.44 at 6'2". Jalen Royals from Utah State ran a 4.42. 6 foot. Jack Beck, 4.55. He's a little slow on his 40, but 214 pounds. Trey Harris from Ole Miss, 4.54, a little slower too, but 6'2". Jaden Higgins, Iowa State, ran a 4.47. Big frame, 6'4", 215 pounds. Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State, 4.48, 202 pounds. Luther Burden from Missouri ran a 4.41. And Matthew Golden, the speedster in this draft, 4.29 from Texas. And everyone's number one is Ted McMillan, 6'4", 219 pounds. Little backdrop there for the end of the short. Here we're going to go with looking at the wide receivers, the top ones, and how they might score in fantasy compared to the ones of last year. Let's quickly bring out all of the first 3 rounds of wide receivers taken last year. All right, rounds 1, 2, and 3, wide receivers in last year's draft. See how the first 3 rounds did. See if there's any big discrepancies here. Go ahead and put them down at the end here. We'll get to the. This is all of the wide receivers. Of course, there's where their picks were. We had since they're all picked last year at 4 through 100. And here's the fantasy finish last year. Of course, 4 over here. Here's the average per game, 11.59. You see Ladd McConkey here. He was 2, 4, 6, about 10th taken, and he ended up being 3rd. Here's fantasy points, but here's that first year average we're wanting to look at. So, hey, if you ain't early, we don't, here's the second and third rounds where they're not doing too. I mean, McMillan here obviously did, but we're wanting to be in that first round and up towards the close. But obviously, Ladd McConkey breaking the pattern there a little bit. But anyway, 2 top ones up there. And Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't do as great. But hey, you want to be that top of the first, right? All right, let's bring out some recent first round wide receiver selections in the draft. Drake London, first up, and Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jameson Williams. We had Jahanni Dotson and Treylon Burks. This was 2022. Let's continue here with 2023's JSN. Was for Seattle, Quentin Johnston and Zay Flowers and Jordan Addison. I think that was 2022. Let's go ahead and start with 2024's last year. Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Nabers, Rome Odunze, Brian Thomas Jr., and Xavier Worthy. Ricky Pearshaw, that finishes up the last year's, and Xavier Leggett sneaks in too. So let's go ahead and zoom out. We'll see who they all are. Barely get them all on the screen, but we got them. So let's take them down to their thing and get ready to make a little graph here. So 2022, you can see the first one, like I said. 2023, there were 4 of them. 4 first round wide receivers selected, and then we had 6 last year. So let's go ahead, and this was the rounds they were, or the pick they were in the first round, since they were all first rounders. Really doesn't matter too much fantasy finish last year. So you get some really good top ones out here where they were all first round talent, right? Average per game last year, but the real one we're wanting to get to, and we're going to look to, is not totally fantasy points last year, is we're going to want first year average. Look at that average for Malik Nabers, 11.1, to only be outdone by Brian Thomas Jr., 11.5. All right, so this is how, and Chris Olave did 8.68 in his first year. Zay Flowers, 8.2. So we just went nuclear last year with these two. Rookie lightning, right? So we're going to see, take these, and this is the averages we get here to kind of figure out what the average of first rounder might make, right? All right, let's look at that. If you're liking what you're seeing, please hit that like, please hit that subscribe button. Do it today. Be the first on your block. Hit that subscribe button, thumbs up. Thank you. All right, then we're going to use the first year average we have on these first round receivers, right? We got which pick they were overall. Try to use that as a guide to where they line up with these current rookies this year. At Tet McMillan comes in at a 7.7 was the average pick. So we got him down as a 7th or 8th pick here. Drake London was an 8th pick. Garrett Wilson was a 10th pick. And Malik Nabers, 6. And Rome Odunze from last year was a 9. So that's right on target there. We take what their averages were from last year, or in their first year. Not last year, first year average. And we come up with a 7.75 average for him next year. And we're going to do the same thing with Golden here too. He came in, you can see here, at 23rd pick, they think, in the first round. So 23rd pick, we Zay Flowers, Addison. We had JSN. We averaged them together, come out to 7.37. And you see Luther Burden here, the third. He's pretty well the same. Came up to the 25th, so we use the same numbers. Come up to 7.35. So that's about where these guys are going to score. And we also have where they're going to be picks. Who's picking at 8th pick is Carolina. So they might pick up this Tet McMillan. That'd be a great landing place for him. Give Bryce Young a true number 1. How about Green Bay for the 23rd? See, 23rd where he's set to go. Green Bay, hey, they need a number 1. All right, they could use a number 1. That Watson's always hurt. How about here, Houston? Tank Dell, Diggs is off the shelf this year. Maybe pick up Luther Burden in the 25th pick where they're scheduled to go. That'd fit in pretty about right. And how about Igbuka here sliding all the way 31st to Kansas City? All right, you got him as 27th, but we got him sliding all the way to Kansas City. That might be where they go. We'll see how it falls out. But here's the averages from last year. See over here on the left, the top 40. Well, McMillan here coming in at a 7.75 would put him 43rd at wide receiver last year's averages, but just ahead of George Pickens and behind Keenan Allen there. So that would be the rookies. We're not going to expect a lot out of them this year, huh? 7.35 would put Burden in here about where Debo and Shakir finished last year in the 45th, fives, and same here with really Golden here. They're going to finish where Debo, right, and Shakir finished, which 43rd. So what's the rush? See what it's going to be here. And so these receivers probably aren't going to score that good. Well, wait a minute, Fantasy AI. This is coming off Brian Thomas Jr. finishing 4th at receiver. Malik Neighbors finishing 8th. These people are going to be all over these rookie receivers in the fantasy drafts. Matter of fact, Fantasy AI called it right last year. Go back and look at my Lightning Strikes Twice video. I called it, although I called Neighbors. I didn't really plan on this Brian Thomas Jr., but hey, one of the rookies took off last year. Well, we've got their first year averages, and we can see those two are way above the mean. All right, so we're going to have a little regression maybe next year. So we're going to go in there talking up in that fantasy draft night how great those rookie receivers did. But we ain't going to take one. We'll get them all to spend their money. We'll save our money on other ones. Normally, I take that rookie Lightning. Hey, don't get me wrong. In the past, I've always taken a rookie. But we'll see what the prices are. If we've got them all bid up, we ain't taking one. All right, we'll look for that regression. All right, let's take a look at this.